G'day everyone, this is Brad from T4T. Thought I'd just give you a bit of a snapshot of the week ahead, and so we can start planning around some of the key releases, look at the key themes of the currencies, and give you a pretty good heads up on what to expect as we go through the week. Then you can start to anticipate the potential moves and go from there. Now, just to, as you should do on Mondays, pretty much come into your, in particular your major currency pairs. Now I've got the Aussie, Kiwi, Yen, Euro, Sterling and CAD up here at the moment. So just looking at these major currencies here, looking for particular major themes. Now the Aussie dollar had a really strong week last week, rallying from around 71 cents up to above 74, up to sort of 74.42 I think it was. And the Kiwi likewise from 65.70, okay, up towards 68, or just above 68. So a good move there as well. Not quite as strong as the Aussie move, but I guess all the data was in the Aussie dollar, so that's why that sort of currency moved more. Dollar yen pretty much trading sideways at the moment, just trading around that Nikkei, the equity markets, and with no real direction from last week's non-farms as far as equity markets go. It is continuing to trade sideways. We did have another pop to the top side here, 110 sort of 40 topped out euro leading into that, but other than that it was a pretty sort of quiet week, and then just a bit of weak US numbers, and then it took off. The big one of the bigger moves was the correction, the bounce back here in sterling, and this is on the back of a couple of weaker numbers too. So it's all about the Brexit for sterling, and it's going to be to and fro as we get closer towards that June 23 referendum on the EU exit. Now, one of the other key themes which you should be able to see very clearly is oil. It's currently trading at 36.5 bucks a barrel. Now that's pushed dollar CAD down towards 133 the fig, and we've got a sort of a bit of a trend line break here. But basically the overriding theme is you should be thinking dollar CAD lower as oil continues to rally, right? So, and just for those that are new to the to this segment, I have got oil inverted on the left-hand column here, and that's why it sort of looks like it's going down, but in actual fact it's actually going up. All right, so there's the key themes. Okay, Aussie up. I'd almost say euro a little bit neutral to slightly up. Sterling up, Kiwi up, dollar yen sideways, and dollar CAD down. Okay, so when you come back to looking at potential opportunities in these, look at these short-term trends and see if you can get economic numbers that match them, or look for these trend lines to continue to hold. Okay, if there is economic numbers and they are against these this general move, then we might see some good corrections back to the downside on the currencies that have rallied. The currencies that are trading sideways will continue to trade sideways, but you might see some sort of correction here in sterling. One of the things is with sterling, always think of it in the back of your mind, it comes back to the Brexit as the potential key there. Now let me just come back over here to get the calendar up, just have a quick look. I've just changed the time zones to be Sydney at the moment. Now it's a pretty quiet start to the week. Now we do have a few central bank personalities speaking. We've got MPC member Haldane speaking in the UK Monday. Now I'm not too familiar with who that is, but you want to be aware that there is someone from the central bank talking. The Brainard and Fisher speaking late Monday in New York in the US. And then you've got RBA Deputy Governor Lowe speaking on Tuesday as well. Now he likes to put a cat amongst the pigeons. He's usually wheeled out to deliver some bad news. We do have some final GDP numbers. I don't expect a lot out of Japan at this point. Coming back into Tuesday, we have some trade balance figures out of China. I'll probably just have a look at those. I won't look to get aggressive with this release. It's a bit of a minefield trading some of the Chinese numbers at the moment. So you're sort of more looking for a lead into their equity markets. So if there's a major variance here, you're waiting for the data to come out, waiting for the initial moves to happen, then start to reassess. As we come into Tuesday into Europe, there's a couple of peripheral numbers here, but nothing of major significance. What is of significance is Carney speaking, the Bank of England governor. Okay, so that's something that's once again, when you have all these central bankers talking, it's a little bit of a wait and see scenario. Look at your technical levels and make sure you know where the good entry points are, because trying to work out what they're talking about sometimes can be a little bit hard, and the market will move before you generally work out what's going on. Now, the back end of the week is more promising. Okay, when I say more promising, there's potential for very clear direction. Now, coming back to manufacturing production numbers out of the UK, all right, that is definitely, I'll be definitely watching that very closely for a change in the numbers. Maybe we get a good move on the back of that. Okay, then following that, on Wednesday, the Bank of Canada, okay, rate statement, and also the overnight cash rate. No change in rates expected, but we are always looking for the something out of the statement. Now, there may be some reference towards oil prices and the impact they're having on the government's balance sheets and a few other things. So that might be interesting there. They could even be more of an easing bias on the back of that weaker oil impact. All right, so that's something to really look forward to on Wednesday afternoon or early Wednesday morning if you're in Asia. Then following on from that, actually, there's the crude oil inventories from the US. Now, I've seen this number impact. Obviously, dollar CAD would be the main catalyst. If there is surplus, well, then that goes to a weaker oil price. If there's less in the old pot, well, then that may lead to a further rise in the price of oil. Then Thursday, coming into that Asian session, we do have the RBNZ. Right now, there's a bunch of different things here. You've got the cash rate, the RBNZ statement. Then you've also got Governor Wheeler speaking 3 hours later. Okay, so it's going to be a pretty lively session there Thursday morning for the RBNZ. That will be the major focus for the start of the Asian session. So keep an eye on that. And this rolls into, so for a busy sort of day, I guess, for the Asian session on Thursday, the Chinese CPI, PPI numbers. Once again, all eyes are on that Asian market as they try and work out whether China is rolling over or if they are just in a bit of a lull at the moment and they are on the way back. Right, so as we come into Thursday, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. We've got one of my crowd favourites, Draghi. Okay, we've got the ECB press conference. We've got the bid rate. Now, no change in rates expected. You never know what you're going to get out of Draghi, but we do have on Thursday his press conference as well. You'll be watching that very closely for any signs of changing policy or an update on where they are, etc., etc. So that's going to be quite interesting there on Thursday. And the market will be waiting and anticipating some sort of comments out of Draghi to get things going. All right, then, so once again, a lot of central banks this week, RBNZ, Bank of Canada, ECB. You come back down here to just on that, Thursday afternoon in Canada, you've got the Bank of Canada Governor Poloz speaking as well. Don't miss that. He could throw a cat amongst the pigeons. Then you come into Friday's trading where you have the Canadian employment numbers. Okay, this is actually a really good opportunity. Usually these numbers are coming out with the US non-farms and it gets lost in all the noise. Now, Friday in North America, you can expect this this release to provide a potential good trading opportunity for that North American session. That'll probably be the major lead data that is coming out. So what we can see is you may have an opportunity to get into a trade there either on the release or afterwards, and you'll have a good 4 to 6 hours for that to impact, and that's plenty of time to take cash out of the market. Now, for those traders who are holding positions over the weekend, just be aware that China does have retail sales. Let me just redraw that. China does have retail sales, industrial production, and also the fixed asset investment. I mean, I don't think that's a big release, but these numbers are coming out on Saturday. They do have the potential impact on the market on Monday mornings. Another good reason not to be running positions over the weekend. All right. So just a bit of a recap there, just going through the various releases on Forex Factory here. So Mondays, get all your charts up the curve. As I said, I've already sort of run through the general themes there of the currencies. there are some variable releases coming out. So what you want to do is make sure that you do square away the high impacting potential momentum changes, I should say. And be aware there's quite a few central bankers talking this week, and then it doesn't lead into really the potential momentum changes around Wednesday. UK manufacturing, Bank of Canada, of course, then the RBNZ, and then coming down into Thursday, Chinese CPI numbers. Then you've got the ECB on Thursday, and then the CAD employment numbers. Probably the best opportunity for the week, I think, as far as a clean release goes, where we may see a nice easy trade on the back of that. Okay, you also want to be assessing the technical levels as it comes into those releases for the various countries. So what you need to do is, so you match up basically, okay, the opportunities here with the various central banks. Make sure you're on that currency pair. So for instance, with Carney speaking on Tuesday, okay, Tuesday morning, let's just see where he's speaking actually. Okay, he's European Union membership before the Parliamentary Committee, right? So Tuesday morning he is speaking in the UK. What you want to do is make sure you've got your sterling chart and euro sterling and any other potential crosses for that matter. Make sure that is squared away and that you are ready to trade on the various levels around what he's talking about. Now also, just recall, when it's a central bank speech or along those lines, we are looking at potentially him sort of saying a positive followed by a negative. So what you can end up doing, you can end up getting chopped up a bit. So even if he is speaking, circle the currency. It may be a chance to wait and see, and then go from there. Okay, so as it is, I mean, sterling is whipping all over the place about the Brexit, and there's a lot of news here, as you can see down the bottom. There's a lot of news here in red regarding comments. Every politician will be throwing his 2 cents in, and we'll see what happens. But generally speaking, the week doesn't really kick off until Wednesday as far as economic numbers go, and then it's a bit mixed with central banks. But do keep an eye on the major game changes like the CAD. I think the CAD on Friday, you want to definitely circle that. That's just a clean opportunity. There's no central bankers talking around that time. It should be all said and done. We should by Tuesday, Wednesday have a clear direction on oil for the week, and then we can come back. The Bank of Canada is already out of the way, and then Friday's employment numbers are the best opportunity. So, and that's what you really want to do, is isolate the trading opportunities. First of all, technically, okay, going through the various aspects, and then you're coming into the individual currencies for their specific releases. As I said, looking at dollar CAD very closely. You would, for instance, be looking very closely at CAD yen. I've also just got crude up here, just trading on its own. You can see it just sort of breaking a little bit higher here through that resistance level. And I've also got it overlaid with dollar CAD. Okay, and the reason for that inversion of oil on the left-hand column here is because dollar CAD is the currency. I want the correlation to reflect positively with CAD, so I have to invert oil, right? So that's where that comes in a little bit easier, and even also looking at euro CAD for that matter. So looking at the crude prices is very important, but also looking at the Bank of Canada. So assess all of these things, and then you can sort of work out where all the best trades are. Keep an eye on your news pages as you go through the week. This is where you're going to learn a bit more about where the general themes and bias for the currencies are. If you can work that out at the start of the session, okay, and this goes for whether you're in Asia, Europe or North America, once you work out the general theme of the currencies at the start of the session, then you can start to piece things together, right? If I come back to those that block of major currencies, as I said, like the start of the week here, the Aussie dollar is just trading sideways, so is Kiwi. There's a little bit of downward pressure on dollar yen, but it's sort of now trading up and down through the cloud, a little bit of mixed interest there. Definitely sideways trading here to start the week on euro and sterling, okay, and also dollar CAD. You wouldn't expect these currencies to start moving until there's comments from the central bankers or there's fresh economic news. on those things. And then from there, what you want to do is keep an eye on the, in particular, the US equity market. It's a very big lead into the for the other equity markets. They usually follow suit with what's happening over there in the US, and that's where the trades will come from. So all up, pretty slow start to the week, but don't let that demoralise you. Don't keep yourself busy, and we'll see what we can make ends of it through the week. All right, guys, that's the week ahead, and we'll keep you in tune as we go along. Cheerio.